What is up, guys? I'm at COD XP and I finally got a chance to try out some Infinite Warfare multiplayer. You guys know I'm not a big, pubs fan, like in terms of I do mostly custom games. And I'm also quite terrible at multiplayer, so keep that in mind while I share the footage. But we're going to go through a few maps and a few weapons and classes. Overall, I really enjoyed it. It was actually felt pretty good. The weapon feedback was great. In this particular scene over here, I'm using the Synaptic rig. So there are several rigs you can choose from, and rigs are basically specialists. You choose a rig, and you get, a special ability, and you also get a special perk that you can choose from. So there's 2 abilities and 3 perks you can usually pick from. For my weapon over here, which I'm a big fan of, is the Reaver. It might be a little bit confusing because later on I'll refer to the Reaper. The Reaper is my special ability where I turn into a dog, tap robot, and run after people. But yeah, there we go. Feels pretty good. Love the feedback on it. Nice little shotgun. I'm not super familiar with all the weapons yet, so I'm still kind of experimenting in here. But the game feels good. There's wall running, there's double jumping. It feels like almost like a readjusted Black Ops 3 in terms of just the feel. You definitely aren't as mobile in terms of your jumps aren't super huge, it appears, and you feel like at least I feel like my feet are on the ground most of the map. For the map itself, this one is called, let's see here, I think it was called Throwback. And you're almost on this kind of this Halo world, as you probably saw from the intro. And I guess it's just some small replicated town. So a big plus in these maps in Infinite Warfare is that they're very keen on including some small and medium-sized maps, which will make it very cool to kind of do some games like Michael Myers on these maps. So looking forward to that. I'm glad that possibility's there. So at this point, I'm playing with a tactical button layout, which I'm not usually used to, where it swaps the melee and the slide button. I might fix that later on. But as you can see here, there's a little sensor ability over here that I just used, which gives me a hint in terms of which direction a nearby enemy is. I'm trying to be cautious over here. I don't recall whether it paid off or I got my head blown off. Oh yeah, here we go. I spammed the hell out of this thing. Look at that, my entire clip, just to get that one dude. Poor guy. But yeah, so the setup for us actually playing this, if you go to COD XP, they basically have these huge tents, and each tent kind of has a feature game. And this tent I'm in right recording this footage, obviously it's Infinite Warfare, and there's a big tent for Remastered, a big tent for Zombies. Ouch. And just rows and rows of machines. Anyone was allowed to kind of record the footage with the laptop and recording gear. You had to bring your own. So I had to kind of wedge mine in between 2 other stations and find a power out in the back, but made it work, and footage recorded really smoothly. Look at those storefronts. So you'll see in a lot of the footage that I show you guys, my focus sometimes is just all about looking at the detail in the map. A lot of love. Oh, here we go. Finally used the Reaper. Got 1 kill before getting myself destroyed. Have not quite figured out how to use that effectively. Do I have to kind of flank? You still seem really vulnerable when you're in that state. In another clip later on, I get shot down super fast. But overall though, like I said, while I'm not a super huge multiplayer kind of guy in terms of all out team deathmatches and whatnot, I like to organize games, which I'm really looking forward to in this. The game felt really fun. I do want to learn, the abilities and the proper loadouts. So what's interesting also is that you can change your rig or your specialist mid-game at any time. I did find a lot of times where I wanted to change both my loadout and my specialist, my rig. By the time I was finished doing that, I'd come back and I'd still have my old stuff. I would have to wait for the next respawn. So hopefully they allow for some kind of combinations where your loadouts also have a rig attached to it, so you don't have to change both of them individually mid-match. Otherwise, everything else felt really smooth. Alright, I think I changed my weapon over here to SMG. Feels pretty nice, but doesn't have the power that I really need for how terrible my aim is. There are also all sorts of new grenades. You can throw down a scarab and the scarab will chase an enemy. There's a black hole grenade, which I didn't use. Here, this special ability, I forgot what it's called. But basically the bullets like fire in a spread and they ricochet off the wall. Too much ammo, so I mean I feel like it's way better in a like tight alleyway situation or if someone's like hiding cover. But overall pretty cool. Yeah. That's the point where I was like, alright, I need to change my button layout. I tried to melee instead of like crouch. Here we go, we're going back to normal instead of tactical. There we go. Yeah, feels good there. That death could have totally been avoided. Alright, guess we're just searching the map now.
Enemy scarab active.
So definitely rigs are more focused on like, for objective-based maps where we're just trying to like, like suppress enemies. They're definitely your sniper rolls and your, I guess, really mobile rigs. Like there's one that has a special ability where you can kind of like, warp ahead a little bit. I think that was the FTL ability, if I'm not mistaken. Come on out. There we go. So in this match, believe it or not, I go positive. I definitely cut out a bunch of attempts where I just absolutely murdered. More for my own sanity than for you guys. But this one was a min. A win, not a min. That was my teammate. So cool. For a first experience, definitely enjoyed it. And next up, we'll be checking out the terminal remake of the terminal map. That one was pretty exciting for me because one, we spent tons and tons of hours on terminal, and I'm curious how faithful they were to recreating it because we're getting, let's see, remastered with Overgrown, with Modern Warfare, so I know we'll be able to do Border Patrol on that, no problem at all. But to also get terminal for Border Patrol would be absolutely amazing. So let's check it out here. Overall, you're in space. Obviously, it's a space terminal instead. You can immediately see that, like, a lot of the structure and everything just is super noticeable. All right, what am I picking here? So you choose your rig and you can choose your loadout. Like I said, I wish you could kind of link the two together so you just pick one thing.
Go. Capture the objectives.
So here we go. My first thought, getting a terminal is like, hey. What if I try and run the Border Patrol route, like, immediately? And this also makes me like the worst teammate ever, because all these guys out there are trying to get the job done. But I'm gonna run this route. Here's where the snappers would be. I'm gonna go into back of this plane, aka shuttle. Things are feeling smooth so far. Memory's flooding back. There's a dude. I'm gonna go for him. And I immediately regret it.
Securing Alpha.
So yeah, we're playing domination here. And, again, I completely ignore the objectives. I'm just checking out the map. And here's that center area. Now, if you look over there on the right, those windows over there were completely shuttered off. So hopefully there's a button we can kind of use to open them up. But I don't think there is. I think they're just permanently shut down. So over here, I think I'm finally trying to get back into helping my team out a little bit here.
Securing B.
Oh, that was pretty lucky. I didn't see anyone over there. And I think I stayed on that point long enough to help capture it. There we go. But yeah, here's a stairway on the right where the elevators used to be. Right across over there is where the burger place used to be. I'm gonna take a peek there a little bit later on. Ah, those physics. Back up we go. So going back to the shotgun. This one was the Reaver shotgun. Definitely my favorite weapon so far. I mean, obviously it only works close range, and I spam it pretty hard. But it just feels so good, Can't resist firing this thing like crazy. Ah, here we go. On the right is where the library used to be. The left is where the snipers would be. And yeah, I don't think there's a way to open that up. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do more control on this map. We'll have to figure out a different place for runners to kind of like wait at the end.
You're needed at B.
So the area where you can, where we used to play dodge knife past like the scanners. That will check out in a moment if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. I'm not, I guess this is not the part where I check it out. I'm just checking out the room. And I don't know what I'm thinking over there. With this shotgun, I'm not going to be able to hit anyone behind that counter. But here we go. So this area is actually still great. Like, we can definitely do some kind of like, grenade tossing or tossing game. I did not see any weapons that you can, like, there's no throwing axes, throwing knives, as I can tell. But there were definitely some other toys we could mess with. So I'll see if I can put up a little video later on. Here we go. I'm going Reaper. And again, yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, that was that point where I just pulled it out, ran up, and just died immediately. So I guess maybe that's just something I use in a more crazy environment, not a one-on-one situation. But again, guys, I am not a pro. So just playing it for fun. Nice to see, Terminal make it into Infinite Warfare. Trying to contribute to the team over here. But overall, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of space to work with for mini games. And detail's great. The guys who mentioned there was supposed to be like a lot of like Easter eggs in this map. At least running through it, I didn't spot anything immediately. Maybe where the library used to be, maybe on top of where the water tower used to be, we'd find something. Hey, look, sushi where the burgers used to be. But overall, it seemed a lot of fun. A lot of toys to play with. Plop. And looking forward to showing you guys the other two maps I got to play. The other two maps I got to play were, let's see here, terminal called Breakout and another one called Frontier. In Breakout, we played a game called Defender, where you try to hold the ball for as long as you can to get points. That one's a lot of fun. And on Frontier, that was on a space station. And with that one, as soon as you die, your body just started floating around because of the low gravity. So that was really cool. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this early look. Let me know what your feedback on the game is so far. I got to play both remastered, Modern Warfare Remastered and this, and I think both are coming out great. I'm looking forward to playing both on launch day. Hope you guys are too. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. Keep your eyes out for the next video. Hope you enjoyed watching. And guys, thank you for being fans. Later, dudes.